All right. It is 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's get started. Good day, everyone, and welcome. The American Committee of Medical Entomology, ACME, a subgroup of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, is pleased to hold this informational webinar on ACME's Young Investigator Travel Awards. And I will be facilitating the event today. My name is Nsa Dada, and I am a faculty member at Arizona State University, and I am representing ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards Committee. Joining me on the panel today are two of ACME's trainee representatives, Akila Stewart and Teresia Njoroge, both from Indiana University School of Medicine. We also have two previous ACME Young Investigator Travel Award recipients, Thomas Vial from Institute Pasteur and Nde Basinjob from Arizona State University. We have a special guest joining us on the panel today as well, ACME Chair, Adriana Troyo from Universidad de Costa Rica, and she has very graciously agreed to take some time out of her busy schedule this morning to introduce ACME and ACME's commitment to supporting its trainees. Before I hand it over to Adriana, I would like to go over the workflow of the webinar today, as well as provide some housekeeping information. We will start with an introduction to ACME and the ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards. We will go over other ASTMH Travel Awards opportunities, and then take a deep dive into the ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards application process, going over eligibility and the application requirements. We will also touch on the evaluation process and share some examples of successful applications. We will then have a fireside chat with the previous ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards recipients, and subsequently answer any questions that you may have live. If you have any questions as we go, please post them in the question and answer section that is hopefully to the right of your screen. You have the option of upvoting questions as well. So if a question that you have has already been posted, rather than reposting it, please use the upvote option. We will do our best to respond to questions in the Q&A section as the webinar progresses, and get to any remaining questions during the live Q&A session at the end. We have a lot to cover in the next hour, so this is going to be a rapid fire session to allow enough time for live question and answers at the end. Please note that the meeting is being recorded. The recording will be posted on the GoTropMed website afterwards. If there are any questions that we are unable to get to during the session, information on how to reach us is available on ACME's website, and we have those listed on the last slide as well. Without much further ado, I will now pass it on to Adriana to introduce ACME.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. First, I wanted to thank Nsa and thank our trainees and everybody who's been involved in this, and of course, everybody who's attending and who probably will be seeing the recording of this webinar. This is going to be a very important session, and I'm sure you get a lot out of it. So yeah, I'm Adriana, and I'm right now in sunny Costa Rica. I work at the University of Costa Rica in medical entomology specifically, and I'm current ACME chair. ACME is a subgroup of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. And our mission is basically to promote medical entomology within ASTMH, and then also in other organizations that work with arthropods or include arthropods in ways that they affect human health, either directly or indirectly. So all that has to do with mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, flies, bed bugs, kissing bugs, etc. So we have several objectives within ACME. You have them right there. You can see them. They're organized symposia workshops that emphasize the contributions of medical entomology to tropical medicine. And we usually have symposia at the ASTMH annual meeting to recognize also outstanding contribution by medical entomologists. We have a few prizes that we give out, awards. And eventually, it would be great if you could visit our website and look into those, because we, in addition to our travel awards, we also have professional awards. So if you have breakthroughs in medical entomology, if you are a young investigator in medical entomology, if you have a long career or know somebody who has a long career in medical entomology who deserves an award, we have awards for that. So please look into our site and into those awards. And one of our most important objectives is to recruit young professionals and train next generations of medical entomologists. So we have travel support to attend the ASTMH annual meeting, which we know it's sometimes difficult for trainees to cover the costs of travel. So we do have some awards, and this webinar is specific for that. ACME is very set on supporting trainees, and through travel awards, we try to do that as much as possible. We also want to build an inclusive and open-minded and environmentally friendly community of medical entomologists. So if you are an ASTMH member, you can join ACME. ACME can be your home as well within ASTMH. And if you are not an ASTMH member but are a trainee, you want to join ASTMH, you can join ACME for free once you are an ASTMH member. So look into that. It's really easy to join ACME if you're not a member yet. Just become one of us. So this was really nice. I mean, I'm really happy to be here with you. I'm going to be joining throughout the webinar. And again, thank you all for being here and for being a part of this. And thank you for the organizers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adriana. I will then pass it on to Teresia.
Yes, just to introduce the ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards. So these awards are designed to support early career scientists in medical entomology, and they're supposed to help them attend the annual meeting. And the winners will be selected based on their work, and the research must be in the field of medical entomology. So the award recipients are required to attend the meeting in the year. Like, for example, for this year, you're supposed to attend the 2024 meeting in Louisiana. And the awards will support travel, accommodation costs, as well as a complimentary registration. So there are 3 levels. We target graduate level applicants who will be master's or doctoral students in 2023. And this category will receive up to $900. We have the other category for the postdoctoral trainees who must have earned their PhDs between 2022 and 2024, and they can come from any country. And also these people will receive up to $900. The last category will be the international applicants, and this will include both graduate and postdocs. And these people should be non-US citizens. So the award for this category is up to $2,000. So we move on to the next category, where my colleague will explain other ASTMH Young Investigator Awards.
Yeah, so there are a number of different awards that ASTMH offers. There's a general Young Investigator Award category. So this is for postdoctoral as well as student members of ASTMH. So you must be available to present your work to be able to receive this award. Additionally, there's the ASTMH or the Gates Foundation Annual Meeting Travel Awards. So these are more general awards that the ASTMH offers. You can scan this QR code for more information. It will take you to the website where this information is presented. And we also have, under each subgroup, just like there's ACME, there are other subgroups, and each of these subgroups have their own awards. So again, we have the scan QR code here. You can check out more on that. And these awards include from the subgroups, which are the American Committee on Arthropod-Borne Viruses and Zoonotic Viruses, And these are offered in the student and postdoc travel award categories. And then there's the American Committee on Clinical Tropical Medicine and Tropical Travelers Health, and this would focus on specific groups, so you can look more on their website for such information. And then there's the American Committee on Global Health, which has a student and postdoc travel awards. I actually got a American Committee on Global Health travel award. It was in 2020 during COVID, so I didn't actually travel, but it was nice because they still facilitated the award and it was online, and we were able to get resources to have our presentations online, and I made my own video submissions. It was really still a nice opportunity to get a travel award, even during COVID when I was home in my room doing my presentation. And then there's the ACME which stands for the American Committee of Molecular, Cellular, and Immunoparasitology. So this travel award is also offered to LMIC trainees. Of course, there's one caveat. So we have so many awards, there's so many subgroups, and there's the general award category, but you are eligible to apply for multiple. So for instance, if you have a background in entomology, you could apply for the entomology award, travel award, and you could apply in global health. But then at the end of it, they would only choose you for one category. So you can't get more than one award. And this allows for persons to be able to get as much opportunities for as many persons as possible through what ASTMH has to offer. So this includes the subgroup awards. So only one applicant will be received every year for each particular category.
Thank you so much, Teresia and Akila. We will now take a deep dive into the ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards. So here is a quick overview of the awards and expectations. The ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards provides a cash prize to support travel and accommodation, as well as complimentary registration to attend the annual ASTMH meeting each year. Awardees are required to attend the full annual meeting in person to receive their award. They will be invited to attend the president's reception held during the annual meeting, and awardees will be announced during the ACME annual business meeting. So ACME usually holds a business meeting during the ASTMH meeting. Awardees are also required to present their research during the annual meeting at either a podium or poster session, and their research must involve arthropods of medical importance. Previous ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards are unfortunately not eligible to receive another award, but there are a host of other ASTMH and subgroup awards that are available for you to apply for. So who can apply? Both current ACME or ASTMH members and non-members are welcome to apply. The ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards are open to young investigators from anywhere in the world. There is a common misconception that these awards are only open to US applicants. That is not true, and we hope that we will see more applications from various parts of the world going forward. To be eligible, applicants must be at the master's level, the doctoral level, or the postdoctoral level. And for the postdoctoral level, the PhD should have been earned within the past 2 years. So for this year's application, you should have earned your PhD between 2022 and 2024. Applicants must work on arthropods of medical importance, and they must be available to present their work at the annual conference. So remember that there are 3 ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards categories: the graduate level category, the postdoctoral level, as well as the international category. Eligible applicants from any country can apply for the general graduate level and the general postdoctoral level categories. And It is not limited to only US applicants, as is usually assumed, as I mentioned in the previous slides. International applicants, especially those who need and can justify requiring more than $900, may apply for the international category. So selected applicants will receive a cash prize of up to the amount listed on the category they applied for, and this amount is based on justified need and their departure city as well. So for the general, graduate, and postdoctoral category, awardees will receive up to $900, and for the international categories, awardees can receive up to $2,000 US, and that's usually to defray the cost of long haul flights, international flights. So here is a world map showing the countries of previous ACME Young Investigator Travel awardees. Prior to 2015, the categories were not delineated by they were not delineated as they currently are. So recipients from this time are indicated in the black pins as shown here. And the categories, note that there are a few international recipients during this time, and the categories were introduced in 2015, with recipients expanding beyond the US to Europe, Africa, Asia, and Latin America. The general graduate category is indicated in purple, and the postdoctoral category in orange, and the international category in green. You will notice that we have had international recipients under the general, postdoctoral, and graduate categories as well. Overall, since 2015, when the current categories were introduced, we have had about the same number of US and international awardees. So a total of 18 US awardees and 20 international awardees so far. Note that we have had top candidates from countries that are not highlighted here who also emerged top for other ASTMH awards, and they received those awards instead because only one ASTMH award can be made to a single recipient each year. We hope to support trainees from more parts of the world to attend the annual meeting, so please apply if you are eligible. Now let's take a look at how to apply. The requirements include a cover letter describing your research interest in medical entomology, and that's about 3,000 characters. You will need to provide a description of your financial need to attend the annual meeting, as well as how you will benefit from the ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards, and that's about 2,000 characters. You will also have to submit a copy of your submitted ASTMH annual meeting abstract with the assigned abstract number. It's important to note here that no more than one application can be submitted per abstract. So letters of recommendation is required, and this must be on the letter writer's letterhead, and must be from a major professor or faculty advisor. The letter must contain the letter writer's full contact information as well. You will also be required to upload a high-resolution portrait photo to be used on signage at the annual meeting if you are awarded. So the call for applications this year is now open. It opened last week on March 20. The deadline to submit application this year is in April 17, and the notification of outcome will go out sometime in July this year. So I am going to walk you through very quickly through the application portal, which can be accessed through the ASTMH Travel Awards and Funding website. On the website, scroll down to the ACME Young Investigator Travel Awards and click on the guidelines to assess and read the guidelines and requirements for application. Once you have read the guidelines and identified what category to apply for, scroll down to your category of choice and select the Submit Your Application link, which will take you to the application portal. Here, make sure that you are on the right category. So we did select the graduate level, sign in or register if you don't already have an account, and this will take you into the site where you will provide your application material. Again, ensure that you are applying for the correct category. So to create a new submission, it will take you into the portal where you will provide all of the information that I listed or highlighted in the previous slide. You have the option to track the status of your application as well as save your drafts as you go. The first section will ask for your information. Once you fill that, it will take you to the second section where you have to provide information about your letter writer. And this person must be a major professor or a faculty advisor, someone who knows your work and knows you very well. So once you've completed this section, it will ask you then to provide the statement. So you will need a cover letter. That cover letter must describe your research interest in medical entomology. You will also need to provide a financial statement describing your financial need, as well as how receiving the award will be of benefit to you. The last but not the least is the section to provide your abstract information, and this must be a submitted ASTMH abstract with the abstract text and abstract number. And you will also be required to provide your demographic information. That's your sex, your race, etc. Once all of that information is provided, you will get the chance to upload your portrait photo as well as provide information, contact information for your letter writer. And this will generate a link, an email link that will be sent directly to your letter writer to assess the application portal and provide a letter of recommendation on your behalf. Remember that this person must be a faculty advisor who knows your research very well and can speak very strongly to your strength. The application material, as well as the recommendation letters, are all due on April 17th. So ensure that your letter writers are aware of these deadlines, because applications without a letter of recommendation will not be evaluated. So how are applications evaluated? We evaluate applications based on 4 criteria. Let me switch here. So we evaluate applications based on 4 criteria, and these are the main application requirements that I described previously. That includes a cover letter describing your research interest in medical entomology, financial need statement, which describes your need for the award as well as how it would benefit you, the quality of your submitted annual meeting abstract, as well as your letter of recommendation. For each of this criteria is scored on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 indicating applications that should be rejected and 5 indicating excellent applications. 4 to 2 are gradations of quality of each application requirement from good to poor. I will focus on the 2 extremes of the rubric because you want your application to fall under the excellent side of the scale and not be rejected. So looking at the cover letter, an excellent cover letter demonstrates exceptional clarity, depth, and relevance of research interest in medical entomology with tangible examples. So you could describe everything that you're doing, but if you don't provide tangible examples, it won't bring your application up to this excellent level. Applications will be rejected if no research statement or a very generic research statement is provided. For the financial statement, an excellent statement clearly outlines financial need and compellingly explains the benefit of attending the annual meeting. The financial need is also within the awarded amount. Applications will be rejected on the grounds of not meeting the first criteria, that is not providing a cover letter describing your research statement, or if no financial statement is provided, or if the applicant requests an unreasonable amount, like $10,000, for example. Believe me, we have received applications from people who have requested $10,000 and above. So those applications are usually not reviewed. For the quality of your submitted annual meeting abstract, an excellent abstract will provide clear relevance to medical entomology as well as reflect outstanding research. An application will be rejected if the application packet does not meet any of the or provide any of the above information or meet any of the above criteria, or uses the same abstract for more than one application. So we have received applications from applicants who have submitted the same abstract. So typically abstracts will have more than one authors. You need to identify a primary presenter. We understand that several people from the same group who have done the work may want to attend, but we can only offer support to only one primary presenter at this time. So one abstract per application or per applicant is required. Now, looking at the letter of recommendation, an excellent letter of recommendation will enthusiastically support the applicant's qualification and potential, as well as justify their financial need. On the reject side of the scale, a recommendation letter that does not meet or an application package that does not meet any of the above criteria will be rejected. And if a letter of recommendation is not provided, the application will also be rejected. So note that applicants in the international category are first grouped into the graduate and postdoctoral categories prior to evaluation. The scores for each criteria are added up and the average is taken. The evaluation committee typically comprises of at least 3 members. All applications are reviewed by each member. We could have up to 5 or 6 evaluation committee members. So all applications are reviewed by each member. The scores are entered directly into the evaluation portal by each reviewer who cannot see other reviewers' evaluation. The ranking is done by the system based on entered scores and independently of the reviewers. The ASTMH Awards manager provides the results and ranking to the committee for final decision on how many awards to make based on top candidate needs and available budget. If there are ties, evaluators will vote blindly for their top choice candidates to break the tie. So I do provide some examples of successful applications here. So here at the graduate level, we see that this application or statement of research interest does demonstrate exceptional clarity, depth, and relevance of research interest in medical entomology. This top paragraph here provides relevance to medical entomology. This applicant does study vector-borne diseases, specifically vectors, mosquito vectors that transmit malaria, dengue, and Zika. They do provide tangible examples of what they're doing. So they describe that they're developing, or they developed novel biotechnologies to monitor and prevent the spread of mosquitoes. We can also see additional tangible examples here where they state that they are improving the understanding of the biology and behavior of mosquitoes in order to design these new and innovative tools. They provide examples of one of their research projects here in the section that I have highlighted, going into more detail and depth about the work that they are doing. And at the end, they conclude with the relevance of their research to the scientific community as well as for public health. And they also provide a brief description of how attending the meeting will be of benefit to them. Here is an example of a very strong financial need statement. And this statement clearly outlines the financial need, provides compelling evidence of how they would benefit from attending the meeting, and they also requested for amounts that are within the category that they applied for. So you can see the need here that they've stated in this highlighted paragraph. They provide compelling reason indicating that they are a first generation international student without the means to support their travel. They also go ahead to provide background on where they are from, what the situation for educating the girl child is, and how they are changing that narrative, not only in their community, but also inspiring young scientists worldwide. They also provide reasons regarding how receiving this award will benefit them. So looking at the postdoctoral level category, similarly, this is a strong application, a strong research statement, which highlights relevance to medical entomology with tangible examples. So here you see that the applicant describes what their scientific interests are in medical, in pathogens, in vectors of medical importance. They also go ahead to provide very detailed information about the work that they are doing with clear examples of the application of that work and how it relates to medical entomology. They provide their ultimate research goal, as well as describe how attending the meeting or receiving the award will help them attend the meeting and benefit from attending. So last but not the least is an example of a successful financial statement at the postdoctoral level as well. Here you can see that they clearly state their request, what they're looking for, how much it would cost. So they provide an estimate of how much it would cost for them to travel from their from where they're located to attend the meeting. They present very clear statements regarding their financial situation, about whether or not they have any support or partial support to attend the meeting. They also provide information about how attending the meeting will be of benefit to them. So I will now hand it over to the ACME trainee representatives to have a fireside chat with our previous award recipients.
Yeah, so that was really good. Thank you very much, Nsa. Compared to my time, I'm really appreciative to see this kind of detail, especially the rubric. And I know that I'm from the Caribbean, and I saw a couple of awardees from the Caribbean. So I want to ask, first of all, to Nsa, Andy, what made you decide to apply for this award? And of course, could you just briefly let us know where you're from and a little bit about yourself as well?
Thank you, Akila. My name is Nsa Dada. I am originally from the Gambia, West Africa, and I completed my PhD at Arizona State University, and I'm currently transitioning into a job as a disease detective at the CDC here in the US. So about your question, to answer your question, the reason why I decided to apply was because of the fact that I'm a first generation international student at the time, and I did not have the funds, full funds that would have supported me to attend the conference. And so when I looked at all of the travel award categories on the ASTMH website, I learned that the ACME Travel Award would have supported folks like me that were basically working on arthropods of medical importance, which is around the core of my research. That is what I work on. And so I realized that the target audience for this travel award basically aligned with my research interests and the work that I did. And so I was eligible for it. And so, yeah, that was one of the big reasons why I decided to apply for it.
Yes, okay, I can relate to you, as I said, because I'm an international person, someone from outside of the US. And I'd like to ask Thomas the same question. Could you tell us about yourself a little bit and also why you chose to apply for this award?
Yes, thank you, Akila, for your question. So I'm Thomas Vial, and I'm working as a postdoc in Institut Pasteur in Paris. And actually, I'm coming from France, but I've done my PhD studies in Singapore on mosquitoes-virus interaction, so on medical entomology. And then I worked for first postdoc in the UK on SARS-CoV-2. And I miss mosquitoes at that time, actually. So I've done my current postdoc, I applied for my current postdoc now in Paris on mosquitoes-virus interaction. And yeah, I wanted to be back on medical entomology. So that's why I applied to the ACME trial grant and also to be part of this American medical entomology community because we can read a lot of papers for very interesting research group in the US, but I thought it could be nice to interact directly with them. And also I never had the chance to attend the ASTMH annual meeting. So that's why I wanted to apply for the ACME grant trial.
Nice. So let me ask Andy, how did you prepare your application? Did you have any specific strategies for submitting a competitive application?
Yeah, so in preparing for the application, the first thing that I did was to look at the informational materials that were provided, which is on the ASTMH website. And so when I looked at the ACME Travel Award, I wanted to understand first if I was eligible for the award. It was not just about the research topic that it targets, but also other eligibility criteria. And when I skimmed through everything and realized that I was eligible for it, I then decided to create a checklist which had all of the things that were needed. And some of the main things that were needed were, for example, the letter of recommendation. So I knew that I needed to note that down. I needed a cover letter and financial need statement, and also ensuring that I paid the abstract submission fee, which was basically important for this award. And of course, ensuring that I had submitted my abstract. So I made sure I had all of that checklist to ensure that I was not missing anything as I prepared for my application. And another thing that I did too was to ensure that when I was writing my cover letter and my financial needs statement, I was not generic with my statements. I was very specific to my experiences, to my research work, what its significance is, and what makes me stand out amongst the applicants. And of course, by the time I was done with preparing everything, I decided to share it with my mentor, as well as some colleagues, for them to like proofread my application for me, just so they can spot out certain things, because sometimes you can be in a rush preparing certain things and others can spot out like your grammatical errors, or even basically give you a note of like, you could say this in a better way, or maybe you are, having shortfalls in certain things that you're missing out in your application. And so that was very helpful feedback for me in improving my application and ultimately submitting it.
Okay, those are some really nice points. I could really relate to you because when I first applied was the year before I got the award. And I just went online and I typed some stuff up and I was trying to figure out things and I wasn't very organized. And I think that this process of applying for this award is good because it allows you to prepare for grant writing and other kinds of applications. So it's might seem like a lot, but it's actually very useful for the reviewers of the award to get a better picture of you. So I like how you were very systematic and organized. I wasn't quite so organized my first time. And I know that we often have applications that are not complete because persons start off and then they are like overwhelmed. So it's good to really have a system. So I like that you mentioned those things. So Thomas, do you also get help in putting your application together? And if so, what kind of help?
Yeah, actually, I had a lot of help. I had the chance to have 2 PI, and they already have been to the ASTMH annual meeting. They know quite well how it works. And also one of my PI already got an ACME award a few years ago. So it was very helpful how to structurize the abstract, the cover letter, the foundational need statement. And also there are a lot of postdocs who already applied for other grants like the AK, or as there are a lot of like different awards in the ASTMH. Yes, in my institute, it was not that difficult to like discuss with former postdoc like PhD student who already applied to this kind of travel grants.
Thank you so much for that. So more specifically, we have this part where you are not really in control of it, which is your letter of recommendation. You know, you put out so much information, but you also depend on others to assist you in this process. I'd like to ask Andy, how did you select a letter writer for your letter of recommendation? And what information, if any, did you provide to them about your application process?
So for the ACME Travel Award, it is very specific with your letter recommendation writer. It does like recommend that you have somebody that's a major advisor or a major, like somebody that is, you know, that knows a lot about your research work and things like that. And so for me, when I think of recommendation letters, I always think about the person that can give me the strongest letter of recommendation in relation to what I'm applying to. And in doing that, when I thought about this whole travel award, my PhD supervisor came to mind first. He understood my work in medical entomology. He understood what I was doing. He also understood my financial need, and I knew he would be able to like justify that. And so I reached out to him. That was how I selected who would write a letter for me. I reached out to him and told him that I wanted to apply for this. And one of the strategies that I took in that is basically ensuring that I had a whiteboard session with him, because even though I had told him what I was applying for, I wanted to make sure we had a discussion so that he can see what the award is all about, what is needed in terms of him writing a letter of recommendation for me. And so we went through that so that he could understand the entire scope of the award, which helped me ensuring that he would write a strong letter for me. And another strategy that I took as well was making sure that like days before the deadline, I had checked in the portal to ensure that he had submitted my letter of recommendation, because your application would not be complete without the letter of recommendation. So, and then when it was submitted, I was good to go. And if it is not, then you can go back to your letter writer and, you know, reach out to them and remind them, because they can be busy sometimes. And so generally, I would just recommend thinking about who can give you a strong recommendation letter. Make sure when you're asking, you also ask them if they can write a strong letter for you, and basically give them all the information that is needed for them to know about this award.
That's awesome. So I'll pass it on to Teresa to get some more little tidbits.
Yes, so very nice information and nice nuggets of wisdom from Thomas and Nde. So the next question I want to ask Thomas, it's been 5 months since you received your travel award and you attended the TropMed meeting in Chicago. So how have you benefited from receiving this award?
Yeah, thank you, Teresa, for your question. So yeah, it's been like 5 months and I can still see a lot of benefit currently. So probably one of the biggest benefits I would say is like the connection, like networking with research group. For instance, I had the same chance to present my work, and we could like talk like for so long time after those presentation, and I'm still like talking with them now to help me on different projects, especially with like 3 research group in the US. So it was like very useful for me, and also can give you a very nice visibility. For instance, like on Twitter or X, you can put on your CV. It give you like international recognition. And obviously, the financial support is quite useful, especially when you come from Europe. Daily life can be quite expensive in the US for European citizens. And so I could save money for like other meetings. So yeah, 5 months later, I can see how you can benefit it.
Oh, that's very nice. And I like the pattern. I know these meetings are mostly helpful when it comes to networking, and I like the pattern visibility. So that's really great. So moving on, so I'll talk now to Nde. So you were able to attend the ASTMH meeting in person? And if you're able to, what was your most memorable, experience when you attended the meeting? I can see you attended the 2022 meeting in Seattle. So you can tell us what was your most memorable experience.
Yes, I was able to attend the meeting in person. This was my first in-person conference. I'm one of the COVID babies. So I started my PhD in 2019 and COVID hit, so we had to go on lockdown. And so the ACMH conference in 2022 was the first time that I could like have all that huge human interaction, talk to people within my field about my research work. So yeah, it was my first meeting, and some of the memorable experiences I would highlight 2 of them. The first one being I was on crossroads trying to figure out if I wanted to be in industry, government, or academia. And so the ASTMH conference was a perfect environment for me to talk to people from different fields. They had booths wherein you had people from industry, different companies that you could talk to about their work. And then I could like easily approach people that are in academia and talk to them, which was really fun. Everyone was friendly. And then another highlight for me, which was one of my fondest memories, was the travel awardees for ASTMH, which included the ACME Travel Awardees, were invited to this special dinner reception at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And as you know, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation headquarters is in Seattle. So that was so much fun. We were able to go inside the building and meet with staff of the foundation, talk to them about our work, and make a lot of connections, lots of good food, nice music. It was really fun. So I really enjoyed that.
Wow, that's interesting. So a big part of the ASTMH meeting is for networking. And so I want to ask Thomas, so you were able to leverage this opportunity. You said it previously. So I wanted to ask you if these interactions are continuing, and are there possibilities of maybe having future collaborations and those kind of things, maybe jobs in that direction?
Yeah, actually, I remember we had a lunch with ACME. There was a lunch. Also, in the ACME meeting, we could have time to discuss after the session. And yeah, about collaboration. So I'm still working with like 2 research groups, and they are helping me on 1 publication. I will I try to work on it. So yeah, I continue the collaboration. So it's more like scientific collaboration. I don't know how about job yet, but yeah, as long as you show your face there directly with with people, they can remember you. So yeah, it was useful.
Oh, that's nice to hear that the collaborations and the networking is bearing fruits, and hopefully in future you'll be at a better place than you are after your postdoc. So the last question, we would like to interact with both Nde and Thomas, and would like to ask both of you. We can start with Nde. What advice would you give to those considering the Young Investigator Awards that are given by ACME?
The advice that I would give is first look at the eligibility criteria so that you can make the best use of your time in applying to ensure that you're eligible. But then also put in your best effort when you're preparing your application. The application materials doesn't require like a lot of words, for instance. For example, with the cover letter and the financial needs statement, it's just about 800 words in total. approximately. And so I will say, even though that is quite small in terms of writing, I would definitely recommend that you put in your best effort. Make sure you do that, because there's going to be other outstanding people that are going to be applying for the same category. And so you want to make sure that your application stands out. Also, share your application drafts with your colleagues, your friends, your mentors, so that they can give you some feedback and help you in proofreading. And then finally, my last advice would be, when you get the award, make sure you leverage those connections, make connections at the meeting. Through my experience, by attending the meeting, I was able to meet a lot of people, and two of which, after the conference, months later, were able to write letters of recommendations for me in other situations. And one of them was able to come to my PhD defense. And so, yes, I would highly recommend you use those connections and make the best use of it.
That's very nice. It's well summarized. We can have Thomas comment on anything else that you think that you'd like to add to that.
Actually, I completely agree. The only thing I can add is I would recommend for the application to be like the most honest and like make it personal, actually, because sometimes we can apply to many grants and we use the same abstract or cover letter, but like for the ACME, it's very important to show that you are into medical entomology, and show you're passionate about this, and being honest about financial support you need. But maybe you have other support, but you can benefit from many ways. So yes, my recommendation is like make it personal and like to be the most honest in every part of the application.
Very nice. So at least everybody in this webinar who is interested in applying, you have gotten all the nuggets, all the points that you need to do, and the people who did this and they succeeded. So you need to make sure that you're doing credible science, you're eligible, your materials are well packaged, do it on time, make sure that you have mentors who are looking through them to make sure that they are well written, and you're good to go, and make sure that you complete your application. So with all that in mind, you're ready to submit your application. So we'll move on from this point. I'll give this back to our coordinator, Nsa. We'll go to the next session for live questions and answer, and she will take us through that.
Thank you, Akila, Teresia, Thomas, and Nde for that great fireside chat. We do have a couple of questions in the chat that we have done our best to respond to. There is one unanswered question that I am going to answer live. If you have more questions that have not yet been answered, or if there's anything that we might have forgotten to cover during the webinar, I would encourage you to put those questions or highlight those in the question and answer section. So the one question that we have yet to answer is from Stephen Afriye, and they're asking how many awards will be dispersed per category. So we have the general, graduate, and postdoctoral categories, as well as the international category. We have budgeted for, or we typically budget for, 2 awards for the graduate, the general graduate category, 1 award for the general postdoctoral category, as well as 2 awards for the international category. That's 1 for the international graduate category and 1 for international postdoctoral category. Now, how many awards we give out will depend on the financial need and a justification from the recipient. So if we receive applications from those who are requesting less than the maximum amount that we can award per category, then we are able to fund more people to attend the meeting. The entire purpose of these awards is to ensure that we can support as many trainees as possible to attend the meeting. So please ask for only what you need and don't try to be greedy. I will go ahead and highlight a few other questions that we have answered in the Q&A section. So there was one question from Oliver Bocanegra, and they're asking if they need to hold a master's degree or they need to hold a graduate degree to apply. So are you eligible if you're currently enrolled as a graduate student? And the answer is yes, you are eligible to apply under the graduate category if you're currently enrolled in a master's or PhD program, and you are also eligible to apply even if you have received your degree, but you should have received your graduate degree in the past year to be eligible to apply. And for the postdoctoral category, you should have received your PhD within the past 2 years to be eligible to apply, or currently be a postdoctoral researcher or fellow. So if there are no more questions, I will go over to our last slide where we have information regarding how to contact us. We only have 4 more minutes left. You will have noticed that we provided QR codes on almost all of the slides to make it easy for you to scan and access the application material. So please go to the link provided behind this QR code to access the different ASTMH travel awards or travel support opportunities available. And if you're eligible to apply for the ACME award, please apply. We would like to see more applications from different parts of the world. One of the myths that we're trying to bust here is that these awards are only available to US applicants. It is open to applicants from all over the world. I did mention at the beginning that the webinar is being recorded. The recording will be available on the GoTrapMed website. It should be available for free for a couple of months, and after which you will have to become an ASTMH member to access it. Please post any questions that you may have after this webinar on the ASTMH or ACME My Community. So when you go to the ASTMH or ACME website, to the right of the website, you will find My Communities. Click on that. It's like a chat portal where you can post questions for everyone to see. We will receive notifications and respond to your questions there. You can also reach us on social media. We are on Twitter or X at ACME_ASTMH. You can also join the ACME LinkedIn group. So if you type in American Committee of Medical Entomology into LinkedIn, it should take you to the LinkedIn group where you can join and also interact with ACME members there. Please join ASTMH if you're not already a member. And if you are a trainee member, joining ACME is free. So go ahead and join us, but you are eligible to apply if you meet all of the requirements without necessarily being an ASTMH member. If you have any questions and you would prefer to email, there is an email on the screen, and that's the ASTMH Awards manager's email, Buffy Finn, and you can send any questions or direct any emails to bfin@astmh.org. So that is it for today. We have about 60 seconds left to the end of the webinar. I will hand it back to the rest of the panel members to see if there's anything else that they would like to add before we end.
Good luck in your applications.
Yes,
Yeah.
guys. Good luck.
Good luck, and I welcome them to join the ACME trainee group. So we're happy to, interact with you. We coordinate activities for ACME, so you're welcome to join.
All right, we are at the end of the webinar. Thank you everyone for signing up, and we look forward to reading your applications.